Hello, brave awakened ones. This is Veronica of Higher Realm Holistics, and I'm coming to you with this video from my lovely office here in North Miami Beach. If you're ever in the area, you can come see me, or you could also book an appointment to do Zoom or to do a phone session, and also webinars at higherrealmholistics.com. Now I'm bringing you this video called Know Thy Enemy, How the Dark Ones Operate and How to Defeat Them. Now my Oversoul came to me this morning with this topic to bring up because of the times that we're in. We are in the times where 3D's down, the veil and 4D's exposed. And especially as light workers who are operating in 4D, 5D mode, we are interacting with these 4D beings. And as you know, not all 4D beings are very nice beings, okay? I haven't had an interaction with a negative 4D being in a while. And one came at me the other night. And I was shown how to, it didn't scare me because I've been dealing with them since I was a child. So it was just like, you did nothing but trigger me to do more videos on this and to learn how to really get rid of you, how to knock you out the park, and to help other light workers deal with this issue. I'm sure a lot of you have been experiencing this because the way my Oversoul showed it to me, we're stirring the pot. We're stirring the pot with our light and our energy. So therefore, things get, when you stir the pot, think of like, you start kicking dirt. Everything's still, right? You start kicking dirt or start kicking sand, particles start flying, right? You're disturbing the homeostasis. You're disturbing the homeostasis. So things are going to start flying out. Like if you kick what you think looks like a plain piece of land, the way I'm seeing it, and you have no idea there's an anthill right underneath there. All of a sudden, all these things start coming out. All these ants start coming out. Bugs start flying out. And you're like, oh my God, where'd they come from? This is the same thing. Okay, so it's all disrupted. So all these things are going to start flying out. And yes, they're real. They're not just reflections of your negative self. They're actually real. They're more real than this desk. Okay, because that's where they live. They're in 4D. So everything is being stirred up. And there's like these hawks right outside my window of my office. That's been happening to me lately. They bring me messages all the time. So the two analogies I'm going to use, because that's how my Oversoul shows me things, is via analogy. The two analogies I'm going to use are movies, okay? One of them being Monsters, Inc., that Pixar film, and the other one being a Denzel Washington movie from 1998 called, Fallen. Sorry about that. Called Fallen. Sorry. A 1998 film that Denzel Washington stars in called Fallen, which is a pretty horrifying film. I found it very terrifying when I saw it. I was young when I saw it, 1998. But I see very clearly, it was horrifying because I knew it was true. Let's put it that way. And I never liked Monsters, Inc. because it just rang too true for me. And it really is. Like it sounds silly, may sound silly, but like they say, they're telling us exactly what they do because they have to. And they try to show it in a cute way, a light way, like a movie like Monsters, Inc. But it's very true because, let's put it this way, okay, with the Monsters, Inc., this is showing you how they operate. They operate off of the energy of fear. What do the monsters do? They go and they scare the little children. Why don't they focus on adults? Remember the movie. Go back and watch it. I own both of them. Remember the movie, okay? They go, as cute as they are, these furry, ugly little monsters, and their job is to scare kids. Why do they focus on kids? Because when they do kids, they fill up the jar, the scare jar that runs their entire city. They fill it up with the kids' fear because that's energy. Okay? And the greatest fear comes from the children. The adults, remember, they had scenes where they showed the monsters scaring the adults. And it takes a lot to fill up that fear energy tank with the adult fear, because the adults are, let's put it this way, you've seen a lot, you've gone through a lot, so it takes a lot to scare you. With a child, they're innocent. They haven't seen much because they're protected. Except for that one little girl who was not scared and found them funny and was able to interact with them and was able to change their hearts. That's the little light worker. Watch it again. Watch it with new eyes. Watch it with new eyes, and you will get all the information you need. It's amazing. They're literally telling you and showing you, because this is free will, and they have to tell you what they're up to. Okay? They do have to tell you because you have to go willingly. They're showing you. This is how we run our cities. This is how we run our lives. We run it based on your fear. It's all fear-based. And we get the biggest fear off of terrorizing your children. All those things that you hear of, those dead bodies they're finding in churches, the whole Vatican thing. That's what it's all about. Those sacrifices, those missing kids, that's what it's all about. Because that's where they get their greatest source of energy. Next hawk that comes up to my window, I'm going to show you guys. It's weird. That's the greatest energy that they get. It's from the adults. It's from the children, I mean. It's from the children. Now, the movie Fallen, go back and watch it. 1998 Denzel Washington movie Fallen. It's about these angels. An angel, in particular, a demonic. Well, it's a demon, not an angel. What am I saying? It's fallen. It's a fallen angel. It's a demon. It's a demonic fallen angel. And the way it gets around is by hooking on from person to person to person. And who's ever susceptible, it will hook onto. And it couldn't hook on to Denzel Washington because he basically was vibrating too high. But if it got to him, he was the only one who could try to kill it. And that was by isolating it where it could not get to any other soul, a soul vibrating at a 3D level that it could get to. And it's not to say these people that the demon so hooked onto were bad people. They were everyday walking people. But it can go from soul to soul to soul and hook onto them. And that's how it really is. I've seen it. And I'm sure many light workers have seen this. And the way I was shown and seen it in my own life, the way demons, and demons as in low vibrating 4D energies, malevolent beings, insidious beings that exist in 4D, because remember, they don't go higher than 4D. The real sophisticated ones, as I call them, they go as high as upper 4D. And that includes the ETs also, the malevolent ETs, the insidious ETs that also are here and run this 3D, 4D grid. Well, 3D's down, but they're from 4D. They could be as sophisticated as they want. They could have all the weaponry that they want. Like I said, they could be, as sophisticated weapon-wise and otherwise, but they don't have the power to create. That's why they're imitators, and that's why they steal energy, because they can't generate enough energy because they're too far removed from source to have that creative energy. Plain and simple, they're just too far removed from source. So they rely on science and that kind of stuff. Where that's a good tool for us as we go higher. That serves as a tool, but we're the energy behind it. And they have to steal our energy in order to operate. When it comes to how those low vibrating, insidious beings hook onto you, is through trauma. Okay? It's through trauma. In my own personal case, whenever I was attacked by my mom or my uncle, I would see their eyes change. I would see like they look completely different when they were, and I call it attacking. It wasn't just beatings like your parents angry. It was attacking. Like I said, they would attack me. And I saw the other beings coming out of them. And I didn't find out till I was 24 years old how that demon attached to my mom. One day we were in her kitchen, she was cooking, me, my sister, my daughter were there, and she was cooking breakfast, and we stopped by to visit, well, to pick up the kids after school. She would babysit, and there was a news story about this girl in the 4th grade who was raped by her math teacher. And then as my mom was casually cooking, she started telling her story about how her 4th grade math teacher stalked her and then attacked her and tried to rape her. And if it wasn't for her brothers, he would have killed her because he had a machete. How crazy is that? And she described it in graphic detail, what he did to her. And we just sat there. My daughter said, did Grandma just say what I thought she said? And we literally just sat there looking at each other like, holy shit. And my sister and I, we discussed it later. We're like, now we know why. And all the things she described, what he did to her in the attack, those are the things she used to do to me. And I was like, oh my God. Whoa. And it just was mind-blowing. And I was like, that's why that thing attached to her. Now, the whole demon attachment through trauma thing didn't 100% sink in until I was working at that adolescent lockdown psych facility. This facility was no joke. Okay, these kids have been through some things. I'm talking were prostituted out by their drug addicted parents. They were used in satanic rituals. A lot of them were used in satanic rituals. A lot of drugs, a lot of satanic rituals, a lot of sexual molestation. Almost, let's say, 90% of the kids were sexually molested, boys and girls. And yeah, there were mothers who molested their sons. And it was usually satanic practices when they molested their sons and the things they would force these kids to do. I even had a case of twin brothers and sisters who were brought in, and they're telling me, I was doing their intake, and they were talking about their little sister who their mom allowed her pimp to rape and kill, and they killed the little sister and buried her underneath the trailer. And I have to report this stuff, and sure enough, they found the baby's remains underneath the trailer. I'm talking, that's how deep that shit was, okay? When I worked there, with all the trauma I went through, I had nightmares for 3 months when I first started working there. That's how deep that stuff is. And when these kids would lose it, you saw that demon that was attached to them. You literally saw it. The voices would change. I saw an 11-year-old boy who, he was so skinny and malnourished because he was kept for sexual rituals and was locked in a closet. So he came to us. If he weighed 80 pounds, 75 pounds, that was saying a lot. Maybe 75 pounds. He was so malnourished. And I saw him throw off 3 grown-ass men who were beefy guys, who were the patient care techs to keep the teenage boys in line. We had to call them over because the female ones couldn't handle it, okay? Literally threw them. Okay, threw them. And I was with this real Southern Baptist down-home nurse. And she's like, girl, I'm going to get my Bible. She got her Bible. And I was like, she goes, you hold him down. And I went and I put him in a hole that we do. Certain holes we learned. And I went and I held down this kid and I just wrapped him in light. And I just kept saying, I love you. I love you. I love you. You're wrapped in light. You're wrapped in light. He could not throw me off. He threw off those big ass beefy men, each of them over 6 feet tall, over 200 something pounds. He threw them off, could not release me at all. And I kept hearing that dark demonic voice and the little boy's voice going in and out, in and out, in and out. And that Southern Baptist nurse, she took her Bible and she was just praying and praying and praying. And I knew the prayers, so we were just praying on this child. And then the lights, I mean, it was like the building was shaking. The lights were flickering. Everything was going nuts. And finally, the kid passed out in my arms. And then I just sat there with him for a while. And then I let him sleep it out. And, you know, we had to put him in the padded room and sleep it out. When he woke up, he was just crying in tears. And I just held him for a while. I just sat on the floor with him and held him. And two of the guys next day never came back. One of the guys was a manager, so he actually had to put in notice and left. But he was in tears. He was like, this is too much for me. This is too much for me. I didn't know. It was this is crazy. The devil's alive. The devil's alive. I can't do this. I mean, the guy was freaking the fuck out. It's a big Rasta dude with long dreads, freaking out. He's like, hi, aren't you scared? Aren't you scared that maybe that devil went in you? Oh, my devil can't come in me. I'm too strong. That's why I had to leave. I said it left. It can't have the child. It can't have the boy anymore. And when the boy came out, it was like, he was exhausted. His body hurt. But he was like, what happened? We literally performed an exorcism. And since there's cameras everywhere, it was filmed. I was called in to risk management. There's no sound, but they could see what happened. They were like, we want to congratulate you on how great you handled that and how were you able to do that. And they actually used me in their training film. Used what happened that day, talking about how I did the whole perfect and I handled everything so perfect. They didn't see the nurse standing outside the door throwing prayers, okay? They didn't see that part. They didn't hear what I was whispering to that boy. The lights were flickering back and forth. They didn't know what was going on. They just like, oh, bad lighting. Maybe it was the camera, whatever. That part they didn't see. Their 3D eyes could not see that. They just saw me holding the kid and and eventually the kid calming down and oh, you did the right thing. Pat on the back. We're going to show this as a film. My friend who actually does the training there, who's head of HR, she called me and she's like, girl, what really happened in that room? Because we got 3 people quitting. What the hell happened? And I explained it to her. Okay, so that's what we're fighting. We're fighting principalities here, people. Whether they be alien or whether they be demonic, whatever. All I know is they want to use us. We're food and they want to take us over. That's all I know. I don't make a distinction, whatever it is, because they're all working together. Well, they're working against each other. The way I saw it, it's like a battle. One's trying to use the other, whatever. It makes no never mind to me. It makes no never mind to me. All I know is they're all going to be gone. So they feed off of fear-based emotions. They feed off of the children mostly, the energy of the children, because they're the ones who can exhibit the greatest amount of fear. They do use adults, but they like the fear. The younger the kid, the younger the child, the more the fear they can get off the kid, which is why they attack our children so much. And the demonic forces, they attach to you through trauma. That's how they attach to you. I had one attached to me. They also attach to you through sex. And like I said, that's why I have been celibate since 2012. And, you know, I'm not going to break that celibacy unless I'm with my soulmate or twin flame. That's it. I'm not going to break that celibacy at all, because I saw it very clearly, and it was my soul star family that literally, it was like almost an operation the way they did it and removed that thing from me. That was it's called you know, the Jezebel energy, the succubus energy. And emotions are alive. They have life. Words have life. That's another thing I was told. Watch what you say. That is how you attract them. That's why they say, oh, you're reflecting the evil. It's not necessarily that you're reflecting it as you are attracting it. Your light also attracts it too. Okay? It's like almost checks and balance sort of thing. Your light attracts them. It's like, you know, moths to the flame, moths to the fire, moths to a light. You know, but since we're the light, we zap them and they could drop dead. We burn them up, they could drop dead. That's the closest, you know, the closer they get to us, you know, it's at their own risk. Okay? But they could overtake us if we show that fear. It's the fear they're sucking off of. If you're emanating that fear, they draw that fear out of you, and that's what takes your life energy. That's how they can get you. Let me see. Trauma-based. Watch your words, because your words have life. Because of the energy, your words your words come out, and it literally, it like congeals the energy. That's the only way I can describe it. Like, it takes form, and it takes energy. It takes a lot of words and stuff to form that energy. And if you stop, it'll eventually dissipate, but it takes a lot for it to go away. So you got to watch your words. You could speak. That's why I say you could speak good onto someone or speak evil onto them. Okay. But depending on the person, your energy is either going to attract it because you're vibrating there, or it will repel it. Okay. So somebody could try to curse you, like they say, you know, somebody could try to throw spells on you and try to curse you and try to send demons to come after you all they want. But, you know, how it gets to you, attaches to you, depends on if you're vibrating enough fear level for it to attack you. You got to have that hole open for it to come to you. And why prayers work is, again, words have life. Thoughts have life also, of course. Words have life. Thoughts have life. So if you're praying in the spirit, as they say, you're giving life to those words, and you're calling in the vibration of those words. So like last night's prayer at the end of my webinar, because of the energies we're in, I really wanted to do a prayer, because so many of us are under attack, because we're dealing with all those darker entities coming out, those insidious beings coming out, maleficent beings coming out, showing themselves, because, you know, 4D is wide open, and we have to know how to handle it. And they, even if they can't attack us, because we're vibrating so too high, they can go attack our family. They can attack our loved ones. So we're the ones who have to step forward with that sword, the word. Like if you do tarot, the swords suit is always has to do with your words. So it's about the word, putting out the word to create that, to create that energy that's going to take down the darkness. So yeah, that's it. That's how to defeat it, is by using your words and increasing your vibration and quelling that fear, just standing in your strength and in your power. Okay, that's why those guys couldn't handle that 75-pound 11-year-old boy, but I could, and that other nurse could, because we stood in our strength and our power. We knew how light overtakes the dark. Okay, so I know it was a heavy topic, but it's needed now. Okay, so please join me on my webinars if you'd like. I have my November schedule out, which are Wednesdays and Sundays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can pay and register. And after the webinar, if you'd like to hang out, we do the prayer session. I have some prayers that were given to me by Archangel Michael, which I've used on my loved ones, and I have some new prayers that he gave me for times such as this, as he said. Okay, so we have that, and I also do private sessions, either in my office here in North Miami Beach, or I do it via Zoom for video or phone. And yeah, that's it. So this is Veronica of Higher Realm Holistics. You could also subscribe and go to my channel, Higher Realm Holistics, also. Okay, any questions, short questions please, not big scenarios. You can post them, or you can email me. You can go to my website, higherrealmholistics.com. I have one of those quickie little forms there. Okay, so we got this. It's gonna get heavier, okay, as more and more people wake up, and we have to be on the ready. Okay, so be on the ready. Stay prayed up, people. Lady V out. Love you. Namaste. Peace.